Hi, Asaheim. I just wanted to say thanks so much for those Solstice videos you did. Brilliant, thank you. And it's actually on that note that I'm making this. I was just watching Forgotten Roots display his full autism, and flicking through a book, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and I was watching. And then the lightning kind of like struck me, and I wanted to talk to you about it to see what feedback you could give me on what I thought and what you saw. So really I'm asking you, do you think I'm on the right track here? Okay. So just reading the picture as I see it, in the centre, I think that is Irminsul. I think that is the tree of life. I think it's representing the sine wave of the sun and moon, etc. Running along the centre is the equatorial plane, or the backbone, or whatever. You then have the sine waves, and each equinox or solstice is marked as a flower head, which reminds me of the way the Hindis represent them as an opening lotus flower. If you count them up, you've got them moving up instead of a serpent. So you've got a positive image there straight away. And you've got the base of the tree moving to the head of the tree, and of course, you count those off. You know so much about that already. Now I'm reading this from the bottom right across and round, because I think that's how it's supposed to be read. And if you combine Norse and English and, a little bit of Celtic, this is Celtic, and I don't know too much about it. But if I look at this, I can see a lot from what I know about the Norse and ourselves. You've got the three mother figures at the bottom on the right-hand side, the three Norns that sit at the base of the world tree. And I believe this bottom line here represents the underworld. And there's a reason I say that. It's the Norns are there, and then this appears to be a queue of warriors, and they are waiting to reincarnate. The dog at the end, to me, is representing what I think Cerberus, or in the Greek legends, and you've got in the story of Balder, the saga of Balder's death. You've got his brother riding to hell and having to pass the dog that guards the gates of hell. Now, it's a dog, not a wolf. And if you look, it's sitting below the base of the tree, or the vine, or the eclipse, or whatever. Now then you've got a figure pulling a child, and one could say that figure is putting the child into a cauldron, or anything like that. But what I see there is the divine mother of everything, or the divine figure of everything, with a newborn baby. And I say it's the divine figure, A, because of the size and the representation, but also, as you've pointed out many times before, it's the top knot coming from the crown. So I think that symbolises the Godhead, as it were, in this image. And of course, the first thing that happens when an infant's born is it's held upside down. And there's the child being held upside down with what to me looks like a representation of Mimir's well, Origin's well, or the vagina, as they say. I mean, when I look at that, I think, I laugh a bit, and I think, the Norse, we say pussy, the Norse said Mimir's well. And I think the symbology works well together. I've known several women that Mimir's well would describe well. And then on the upside, on the top, I think that's representing being alive. And each one of those knights, or guys on horseback, warriors on horseback, is wearing a different crown. And I think or helmet. I think each one of those helmets, when you look at them, the symbols symbolise the chakra that is sitting above. And I think the reason why there's 4 of them, not 5 of them, because you'd imagine there to be 5, because the last 2 is obviously the estate or Odin's rune, or however you want to describe it, your middle eye. And then you've got the Godhead rune. So there should really be 5 horsemen. But what I think is, it's your point about saying honour and the kind of like description of these guys as Jedi. And I think it symbolises that in their rebirth, they have overcome that base desire anyway. So you've got the warriors moving through from the underworld, and I think the reason is the 6 with shields and spears, and to me they look like they're resting, awaiting their turn. And then you have the solitary guy, but he is wearing the same type of helmet as the guys above. In other words, he's a fallen warrior that achieved the nobility when he fell. Therefore, he is put in a queue directly to be reborn as a holy warrior and go through the symbolic circle of everything yet again, with the 3 Norns, or whatever the Celts called them, on one side, and of course on the other side there is birth. And birth stretches you from the underworld into the world of men. Hence, the newborn infant is being lifted up and through. Maybe Varg would say the reason it isn't tiny is because this is happening when the child's about 8 years old or whatever, and remembering that they were one of these warriors queuing to come in from the underworld back up. And of course, the serpent is still present within the image, but as you can see, the serpent is uncoiled and stretching out on the far top right hand side. Again, I think that symbolises these guys are like noble warriors, not nobility as in nobility of birth through wealth, but nobility of birth through existence in their previous life. So I know it sounds a bit gibbery, but you're the only guy I know that would probably understand that and be able to tell me whether I'm talking bollocks or not. I think there's more to it. The shape of the helmets interests me very much, with the first in the line being like a mohawk, but the boar is separate as the 3rd figure in the queue, so I don't think the mohawk does represent the boar. I think it's another aspect that hasn't been talked about. But those are the things I think someone who knows a lot about martial law, like yourself, a man of iron, would be able to look at that and see a lot more than I do. Let me know what you think. Just a bit of fun for a Saturday night. If you don't, I won't be offended. All right, take care, and again, thanks for all the brilliant work you do. All right, bye.